Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Oak Island Research Channel for another video, which is called Microfilms and the CIA. What a title. You guys are unlucky this time. For the first time, I did this video in French before I kind of redone it in English, and a lot of people were telling me in the comments of the French video, where's the English, where's the English? It's coming. Okay, I'll never do it again. I do the English version first to avoid a lot of misunderstanding. Okay, let's go. What I want to talk about today is our Zena Halpern map, or Bill Jackson's map, however you want to call it. What's interesting is we have a lot of versions of this map, actually. The top left one is the one that is mostly used. I wouldn't say accepted, but it's the one, for instance, I found the first clues, and it's the one that Michael used for most of the, for all his geometric works. I'm talking about this map here, of course. But you would find in Don Rue's book, The Scrolls of Anteora, this version here, which puzzled me for about a month. He drew it, I think. It's different from the original map, and what caught my attention, and I thought for a long time there was a clue hidden, but I think it's just Don Rue's mistranslation or something like that, because where it writes the hole under the trapdoor here in French, his translation is "find beneath the trapdoor," not a hole. And I thought for a long time Don Rue was involved in that coding, and here is a clue of something you have to work out. Find beneath the trapdoor. It's just a translation error. This map didn't give anything. This translation, the grounding, it should be the landing, and it's not 1,000. It's 1,000. So it's many things don't match, and this map only shows up in the Scrolls of Anteora. I've never seen it on TV or never seen it on the show. On the show, I've seen this one here. It's a snapshot. So that's another version again. And and this is the worst terrible version ever, where they translated La Anse, which means the cove or the bay. It was translated as the angel. And here there's that misrepresentation of the arrows that led to an episode of The Curse of Oak Island, where that character, I can remember his name, was saying, hey, I found that there was an error, and actually it's the hole under the trapdoor, and the valve is this one. And yeah, we knew that for ages, but they decided to make a full episode out of it, like it was last season or 2 seasons ago. The December Triangle, I'm on a French forum at the moment. They're all laughing because it's not written the December Triangle. Don Rue writes the Triangle too. I read DECS. Could be, of course, dus, which means at the same time two or God in Old French, but we don't know. I think it's Triangle 2, but it could still be something else. So what I'm coming to this is that either the show, this, or Don Rue, or the show again with a good version on the top left, are what we think is the original map of Zena Halpern, but it is not. It is not, and again, that's what we've been using. And look at here, those lines here. This piece of paper has been folded into 4 pieces for some reason that I don't understand why it would get folded. Because when they find that document in glued pages at the back of the Anati book, the description was that it was not folded, and it was one straight card that didn't get folded at all. So is anybody trying to pretend or make us believe that the original map was folded? Let's have a look. Actually, if I find Zena Halpern's book, which I got right here, I'm going to read you that passage where she describes, not Don Rue, she describes those documents and how they were found. Remember, 3 people witnesses the finding of those documents in the back of the Anatis book. It was Don Rue, a friend of Bill Jackson, and Bill Jackson, or rather Don Rue inherited from Bill Jackson's collections of works, including those. Of course, Zena Halpern was there because all of this was happening at her place, in her kitchen. And somebody called, I think it's Harry Weimer, who supposedly is a French teacher in Canada. But I can tell you, he should go back to school a little bit because the way he translated the first thing is not really appropriate. Anyways, this is what Zena says about the finding. I'm just going to read that passage. Don Rue was sitting in my kitchen and was leafing through this book, Anatis book, and felt something thick in the back. Using a knife, he sliced open a sealed back pocket. Inside were 2 objects, and this is where it becomes very interesting. A map depicting some islands, that's this map, and a folded, jagged piece of paper entitled La Formule. She writes down La Formule was a folded, jagged piece, but the map was not folded. She only assigned the qualificative folded to La Formule, which is folded. I don't have a picture of La Formule at hand, but you can see 3 folds. It's like it's been folded, 3 times, but not that map. And that map, on the scrolls of Anteora or on Zena Halpern's Templar mission to Oak Island and beyond, this is the map that they found. This is the piece of document they found at the back of the book, not that one. That one is a clear, I don't know how they did it, but the characters are matching perfectly. They managed to get rid of all those grain and dark areas, and they probably use a computer treatment or something like that. Let's have a look at this real, original, genuine map they found. So it was at the back of a book, therefore the dimensions couldn't be bigger than the book since it's not folded, and you can't see any fold on this piece of document. So this is the original. The spelling, writing character is very well reproduced on this version. To the point you can see even the fact that the paper is not square, it goes up, just like here. So it's a very good reproduction, and it's so good, Michael and I managed to do all our research based on this one. But let's go back to this one. If we look at it, nothing special, except, and that just popped in my eyes for in a couple of weeks ago after looking at this for ages. If you look at this map, you have a very bright area here, very white, very bright. And you have a dark area here. This is darker, isn't it? I mean, no worries, it is. And the dark kind of carries on like this, but it's not uniformly distributed around the document, right? Let me get rid of those. Okay. So, why? Michael made a full video about this document, concluding what you're looking at the moment on your screen is a photographic picture of the map itself. And I think he's right. It's a photo. What you're looking at is a photo, old ages, not digital, not new, not it was like processed, and because we're back in 1990s probably. Interesting. You can see that dark line here. That's very peculiar, and you can see the document got that shape with that angle here. You would expect it to be straight, but it's not. And that dark area here. So that puzzled me because I was originally trying to answer one simple question. If indeed the map was at the back of the book and the dimensions are, let's say, maximum 8 inches or maybe 20 inches max by 15 inches or 10, 12 inches, it's a tour de force to be able to encode in such a small document the hidden geometry we found out with that level of precision. Even your screen here is bigger than the document. You're already twice the size of what the original document is on your screen, whatever your screen is. I don't know what you're using, an iPad or a PC or a television, but it's too small to be that precise. You cannot create that coding with such a small document, or you use magnifiers all over the place. And I don't think magnifiers were used. So it would mean that this document, when it was engineered and designed, was much bigger than the postcard size of the document that was found at the back of the book. And it's been reduced or compressed, and keeping all the dimensions and all the proportions and everything. That's the most reasonable, logical way of producing such a precise document. Remember, Michael works with a tolerance of 1 foot. I mean, where the island is a mile long and this document is 15 inches big, so something didn't match. So the other day I had a flash. When I was a kid, I was working in my grandfather's car mechanic shop, and he had one of those machines that I'm going to talk to you about in 2 slides. What I want to show you first, sorry, I forgot the order of my presentation. This is a picture from the show where probably Rick or Marty are looking at the map of Oak Island. And you can see it's very bright in the middle again, and it's dark all around in the sides, darker. But the darkness is uniformly spread out of the document. You would find the same almost surface area on the 4 corner of darker thing. So there's 2 ways to make this possible. Either you get a big spotlight on top of the table, and since the spotlight is circular, it would create a circular white projection, and the rest would be less exposed to the light, therefore being grayer. Or it's the show production who added a special effect to make it nice and authentic, and they would, with a computer, have a special effect darkening all the areas around. When you look at the next picture from the show, which is the same map, now you can see that the dark is only on this side, the dark area, and you don't find it in the 4 corners. So it's not computer graphics, it's really a bulb. The lightning was at the center of this put on the table probably, and when you look at this area, which is what we see on the next picture, the top right corner, you can see again dark. So it's really a lightning effect. Going back to this is not computer special effect or anything. This is a lightning effect again. But if it was just a bulb or a spotlight on top, you would have a white bright area in the middle, and you would have a uniform dark area around. The projection of light would be uniform. It is not the case. So here we're not talking about computer special effects. We're not talking about a light bulb on top with a regular projection around. So what is it? And then I found out in my youth, since I was working in that grandfather's car shop, I was the one in charge finding the references. They gave me the car model, they give me the year, the model, and I would use one of those microfilm from the constructor, from the automotive manufacturer, who would have all the PCs in graphics in such a machine. So I knew those machines existed. And those machines, which are microfiche projectors, work like this. You have a plate here, you insert your microfilm or microfiche here, and you move it around with this lever on top of a light bulb here. Then you got a set of mirrors and a set of magnifier, and the image would be projected back to this screen. But wait a minute, the light bulb is round. The screen is squared. Therefore, it creates a area where you see the light bulb that is pushing light against the transparent microfilm, and on the side, putting a round light source on a square, you would create those black areas on the side, but they're not uniform. Here, the light bulb is right in the middle, but you got more dark area here than you got there, since here you still can look at things. So it all depends on the manual hand positioning and alignment of your microfilm picture to the bulb. If you move the microfilm a little bit on the right or on the left, it would create some black area on the side, and the light bulb would be offset. So it all depends on how you position your microfiche in front of the light bulb, so the projection makes an evenly spread light or not. And I suspect that's what's happening here. We can see only the darkness like this. Like if this was a macrofilm, it was not exactly centered, it was slightly on the side. And that's exactly the effect that you would create. Let's have a look at others. This one, again, it's a more modern one, working with 35 millimeter microfilm. It's so precise, you can put newspaper, it's a miniature world. The company Kodak, the film processing Kodak company, they made artificial aging of microfilms in labs, and they found out that the microfilm would resist 500 years if properly stored, when a CD-ROM or a DVD would only be 150 years. So this is a real long time-proof way of documenting a lot of information on small fish, and it's the most durable way to do it. So they still use it nowadays. Here you can see again the plate that moves around. You put your microfilm on a glass plate here, and the light, you can see the projection of the light. The light is pushed through the microfilm, and by transparency, again, deported onto the square screen. Here you can see definitely that this microfiche has been a little offset. The operator has made the microfiche straight into the light bulb here, and he offset the left-hand side. Here on this one, which is a newspaper, you can see a very bright area here, and this one got better, I guess. And this is not as darkened as the other pictures, but it's not the same intensity. You can see the light bulb was here somewhere, and the light bulb, you can see it right here. So another one here, very interesting. You can see the operator is looking at the left-hand side of those microfiche. Actually, you get a microfiche here and a microfiche there, two different ones. Another one here, another one there, but it doesn't interest the operator. So he's actually centering the microfiche on the light, on the area that he wants to detail. Another one here, you can see again, very bright, and then very dark, but not that dark here, right? So it's not a it's an old machine, right? Here again. So you got several type of microfiche. 35 millimeter, the first one I showed you earlier, are the most common, but there's a special 105 millimeter microfiche. Now, 105 millimeter, this is 105 millimeter, roughly 40 inches. And no, 10 centimeters, roughly 4 inches. And on such a 4 inches wide microfiche, you can put a lot of microfilms. That's what's most commonly used, because you don't need a level of precision extraordinary, and this way you save a lot of place and a lot of room, by putting a lot of information on one single one. But that special format is like, on this microfiche, I would only put one picture. And this is interesting because you learn that this is used for engineering drawing, large format maps. Like if we had a original map of the Oak Island geometry coming from long age ago, big one, probably a A0 format, I think that's a European format, but probably 3 foot wide piece of paper where you get the real solution, and somebody, maybe Bill Jackson, on top of it installed a big sheet of paper or a transparent sheet of paper and starting coding with the V and the line with etc. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was created. And for such big drawings, which would then make easy to build precision into, such a big piece, you would use a microfiche of 105 to put it on the full surface. Interesting. Those machines, 105, were quite rare. but they probably had one at the CIA, or maybe 2 or 3. Why am I talking about the CIA now? Because Bill Jackson worked for the CIA. So he had access to those machines, to this equipment. By the way, Jim McInnes worked for the CIA during the Vietnam War, according to his sister in the book that she published. So I don't want to create a suspicion that the CIA is involved and we're all manipulated. But those two people did have access to CIA equipment, and the CIA must have top-notch equipment, I guess, including probably 105mm microfiche encoders and microfiche readers. Oh gosh, I forgot to translate that bit. That's all right. Just one more. I just want to go back here just 1 second. Let's have a look again. Here. So we have here a document that I thought it was a transparent document to begin with myself. I can't prove it. It could be a see-through document where only the writing and sketching is appearing. And this could very well be a microfiche the way the shadows appear. And I would think that Mr. Jackson took a photograph picture of a microfiche reading machine displaying the Zena Halpern map with a slightly offset on the positioning of the microfiche in front of the lens of the bulb, producing this result. And he took a picture of the screen machine. He took a picture of the screen while it was displaying this microfiche. It's I can't prove it, but it kind of looks like it, and it would explain those shady areas and other things. You would see the microfiche. Microfiche is a transparent, and I always thought that this was a transparent piece of document. But what Don Roux and Zena Halpern found was a picture of this document. I forgot to translate, sorry, from the French video, the text I wanted to put here, so I'm just going to do it very quickly. It's very easy, actually. I can do this. I'm going to show you how it cheats with the translation. Translation from French to English, insert translation from, again, insert. This way you get it better. Sorry, I didn't do my homework. Ooh. There we go. So what may have happened? May have happened that the map that we know was originally an A0, so 84 centimeter by 118 centimeter. That's roughly 3 feet by 4 or 5 feet. That's a big document. Huh? Usually it's for blueprints and such house drawings and construction. Probably by overlaying it on the original source document that contains all the information that we're supposed to find with this cryptid map. Then I don't want Microsoft, that's probably translation here, sorry. They made it 100mm format scan, potentially at CIA, sorry, poor translation. Because the equipment was there, because Bill Jackson had access to this document, probably. Then the microfilm image of that map was projected through a microfiche reader, and a picture was taken. That's what we have at hand. That's the document they found. And finally, that photo processed, probably 3 inches by 4 inches, and inserted in the translation is horrible from this software, inserted in the back jacket or dust jacket, maybe dust jacket is correct, and I don't know that word, of Bill Jackson's book, and how does they find it. So I can't prove it. I can only suggest that these are the ideas that came to my mind when trying to find explanation for both the shadow area and the fact that the precision we would find with this document, because we would enlarge it when we work on it with Michael. How can you do something that precise and that with tiny little character? You remember Ian? This has been reduced. This is a picture of the reduced version of what was bigger originally. That's my take, and that's what I suggest. That's it for today. That was a small, short video. Subscribe if you like the channel and you just discovered it. And maybe there's 2 NA channels, by the way. Maybe not. Can't remember. I'll check in the dictionary. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.